All right, hey, Shalom, Akyam. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Give honors to our apostles, elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. All right, this is the brother Malachi from the Great Millstone Nashville branch, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing is edifying. Yahweh Shemel Shai Barakatham to you, Akyam Wath. All right. Just some, another thing that was on my mind. That's kind of usually, I guess it's kind of how my lessons are really going to be for the most part. Just something that will come into my mind that I'll meditate on, whether I'm reading or see something in my, in my day or whatever it may be. And the Spirit's just like inclines me to, just, hey, do a lesson on it, turn it into a lesson. So I'm reading 2nd Maccabees, and I read this example of a mighty man of the nation of Yasha Allah, named Eleazar. All right. Now, Eleazar is an exemplary, or it's kind of hard for me to say sometimes. He's an exemplary example. Wow. I just basically said the same thing twice. He's an exemplary man. Okay, let me put it like that. Because the integrity and the morale that this man has. All right. He literally embodied what it means to, stand for something or fall for anything. And he stood for something. He stood for the laws of Yahweh Shemel Shai. He stood for his heritage and customs. Okay? And this is exactly how the elect are going to be when the CHIP rolls out. All right, pursuing the Revelations 14:4, how they're going to follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Pursuant to Revelations 20:4, how certain men of the elect, we know majority of the elect, the men and women are going to be delivered and children, but there will be brothers, a few brothers and possibly even a few sisters out there that will have to be martyrs for the Lord, which martyr is essentially somebody that dies for their religious beliefs, which is an honorable, integral death. Okay, it's a glorious way. If you have to go out, it's a glorious way to do it. There's a great reward that will be yielded for that. All right, but nonetheless, let me go ahead and get into this account. This is 2nd Maccabees chapter 6, verse 18. It says, Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment. As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make it as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. So they're like, okay, look, we know you, we respect you, we see what you're doing here, it's honorable, but hey, just eat a lawful meat and pretend that it's swine. So your people will fall in subjection and go off and follow the heathen customs of the Greeks and so on and so forth, right? And basically, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Greeks. So basically, let me go. Yeah, it is. Slocky. But he was like, nah, I'm not even going to pretend to eat that. And this is his reason. Okay? Verse 22. That in doing so, he might be delivered from death. So they're basically trying to bribe him. They're, trying to make an agreement with him. Not necessarily bribe him, but make an agreement with him. They're like, hey, look, we're going to make a deal with you. You pretend to eat it and boom. Okay, you'll be all right. And for the old friendship with them find favor. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, which is 90, were now gone to a strange nation. And so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain in mine old age, and make it abominable. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such a one as my age requireth, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words immediately, when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. They that led him changing, 2 Maccabees 6:29. They that led him changing the good, will they bear him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, It is manifest unto Yahweh, that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in my body by being beaten, but in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. Okay? Which, as you can see when you go to the next chapter, the mother and her 7 sons follow suit with this righteous man, Eleazar. Okay, who I believe was a man of the elect, along with the mother and her 7 sons. I believe they were all the elect. Okay, and this is how the elect in this day and age are going to stand. All right, they're going to be willing to lay down their lives for Yahweh Bashmel Shai, no matter the cost. All right, we are willing to carry our cross. All right, Yahweh Ratazah, that we're of the elect. All right, Sirach 4:28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. That's plain. I'm going to get one more and I'm going to close up. 1 Kings 19:18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him. Okay, so Elijah, I believe it was Elijah. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's a lot. Khan Salaki. It's Elijah, and he was like, basically, Lord, I'm the only one that's serving you, and Yahweh was like, no, I have 7,000 that have not bowed the image to Baal. All right, and what 7,000 means is completion. And what he's saying is they're not willing to conform to the ways of idolatry and these heathenistic customs. They want to continue to serve and follow after me, which is exactly what the elect are going to do in today's age, when that CHIP is rolled out, when the New World Order is rolled out, which is part of that, and all these different things come into fruition. You're going to see the men of the Lord and the women who believe on Yahweh Bashmel Shai, and even the children stand boldly for the names of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. All right, so I just want to go ahead and bring that account out real quick. I'm probably about to turn in for tonight. Lord willing, that this lesson was edifying. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Havatham.